Hi guys, welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be making this from start to finish, and after the costs, seeing if we can actually make some profit out of it. Now some of you may know me, but for those who don't, I'm Steve from Yorkshire Car Restorations, where we restore classic cars and make bespoke custom builds. If you haven't seen this before, go check out the channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Now, in my spare time, I make things like wall art, brass coins, 3D prints, useful and decorative things for the home and the garage and the garden. The question is, can we make a profit doing it? Can we actually make money? That's exactly what we're going to do in this channel. We're going to delve into it all, the nitty-gritty, the errors, the costings, the failures, the things I could have done differently or better, and find out if there's actually real money to be made being a hobby maker. So stick around, subscribe, and let's find out together. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look, a very quick look, at the equipment that's available to us. Now we've got a big M3 Ultra at the back here. You don't need that. Most of the stuff that we're going to be making and trying to make a profit on, you could do on a relatively small CO2 laser or even a diode laser. We've got one over there. It's about 600 quid and it starts a company. Hopefully makes money. So what we'll do is we'll quickly scoot around, show you what's available. We're going to be reviewing these, but you don't necessarily need them to make what we're going to make. Right, so the first thing we've got is the scanners. Now, there are quite a few scanners, mainly because our main channel is sponsored by RevoPoint, and they are my scanner of choice. We've got the Trackit, the Metro Y Ultra, the Metro Y Pro, the Metro X, the Creality Surmoon, and lots of other things to go with it as well. But you can do this if you wanted to take up the 3D scanning part. You can do this with a nice cheap Pop 4. Costs virtually nothing. Then we've got the humongous big Gweki M3 Ultra. Now this one is a laser, 1200 watt laser CNC cutter, and as you can see just on the end there is a 120 watt CO2 laser as well, and that's what's going to be doing the majority of our work. Gweki are going to be sending us an M-Core, which is much more affordable. It's kind of like the size of this X-Tool, which as you can see, definitely more manageable, and this here is a 1200 watt laser cutter. This is a 6-in-1, as the Gweki is. That is a 6-in-1. It welds, lasers, laser cleans, CNC cut, it does everything, as well as this one does. But over here we also have a Laserpecker LP5 that does coins and everything. That's really nice. It does a engraving. The legendary Prusa Core one, the go-to of any printer. This is a Carvera Air. That's for CNC, for things like metal, aluminium. If I lift that up, kind of see what this does, but again, we're just reviewing this. This is the X-Tool F2 Ultra. Now, this does the coins and everything. Now, this is a diode laser. This is worth about, I think it's somewhere between 400 and 600 quid. And can do most of what we're going to do on that, but just a little bit slower. And again, the Creality K2 Plus with the multicolors and the dryer, and a whole host of things that we've yet to unbox, which is fantastic. Now, we're only going to review these on the channel, but we're going to be making stuff that you can make on a relatively cheap one, and that's where we're going to try and find out if we can actually make money. And in between, we're going to look at some fancy equipment. Now, as we say, there's a lot of equipment there to look at and play with and see what's happening. But there's also a lot of equipment that's still boxed up, and there's a lot of equipment on the way for us to use, including the Gweki M-Core. Now, that machine is an affordable 80 watt CO2 laser and a 400 watt fiber laser. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how we made this. Now, this is made up of 5 layers of partly reclaimed plywood, just 3mm plywood. You can cut 3mm plywood on a diode laser for about 600 quid, 400, 600 quid, somewhere around there. So you don't need a lot of money to start this. I'm just using the Gweki because I've got it and because it's much faster for the videos. Again, we're going to be using this machine. We're actually going to be specifically using this part of this laser, but ours is 120 watt for speed. Now, you don't need a 120 watt CO2 laser. You can do this very same thing on a diode laser. It's just a little bit slower. Right, so the first thing we need is some standard B&Q 3mm hardwood ply. I know what you're going to say. Way too expensive. This is £10.49, something like that. And I know you can get it a lot cheaper, but I haven't sourced that yet. So at the moment, while we're starting to try and make profits, because we need to buy in bulk when we get things cheaper, we're going to start off with some B&Q 3mm ply. And with most CO2 lasers, you have to adjust the head manually. So let's do that first. Now, the reason we have to do this is because if you imagine your laser, it comes out like that. It's a little bit thinner than this, but it comes out like that. And what we've got to do, your optimal cutting area is directly there. So what this does is it sets your optimal cutting area for the thickness of the material. So if you've got 6mm, if that's your bed, and you've got 3mm ply, when you put that on there, you know your head focal point is going to direct it at the surface, so it's bang on. If you've got 6mm ply, it's going to be further up, so your focal point changes, and that's why we set as focal point on a CO2 laser. The next thing you need is a pattern. Now, we've got costs involved here again, because the popular things to cut and to make are actually all on Etsy. So, what you do, you actually go onto Etsy, and what I have is some favourite purchases. And this one here, as you can see, it cost us £2.60. But that gives us rights to make it and to sell it. It gives us a commercial license as well. So once we've got that, as long as we save it in a few places, we've got it forever. Right, we're on 12/31, 27th of June. Now, the first thing we have to do is, once we've gone to a piece of software that actually runs our diode laser, CO2 laser, whatever we're using at the time, we have to import. We've unpacked our map, we then have to import it. They come in SVG, DXF files. They usually come with all of them. So if we look here, it comes as 5 separate layers, and each one of them, that'll be the back layer next, and that's the top layer, and you get a master sheet for it as well. What we want to do is, on a big bed like this, we can cut all those 5 at once, but if we cut all those 5 at once, it didn't quite work, would waste a lot of material. So what we want to do is we want to cut one at a time. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the first blank one and work his way up and see if we can get to cut this, because this is very fine. So we open that. From there, in this particular piece of software, we have to import our cutting parameters, which at the moment we're not using the 1200 watt fiber laser. We're going to go for the CO2 laser, and we're going to go for plywood, and this is one I've tweaked a little bit, and that's 5mm air, so we're using compressed air, nothing else. Yep, we're overwriting that. They're telling us it's all imported and good. Now we can up that speed a little bit. Right, so that's the cut settings and everything plumbed in, and that is our shape that we're going to cut out. Now the only one thing we do need is air assisted. Now this machine's got its own pumping. I don't use that because I like my own air. I like to change the pressure just in case. So, but it's just standard, you don't need it. So we're going to cut that out of that ply, fingers crossed. Connect the airline first. Right, so once we've set the position, once we've checked all the parameters, there's not a great deal to check. We check the air, go for a cut. Right, that was the fibre laser. We didn't mean to do that. We've got to switch it to the O2 laser. Let's try again. What I forgot to do is actually set the size of it as well, because you can resize any of these patterns that you want. Try again. I think I need to build a checklist. That actually worked really well. Not too much sutting on the edge, as you can see. I think it's that way. As you can see, absolutely lovely. I think we can actually use this any way we want, to tell you the truth. That's cool. First one, easy one, done. Let's stack it. Right, that worked really well. So we're not going to change any settings. What we're going to do is we're going to click on a new one. We don't want to save the changes because we've got the template, and we want to import, because that was number 5, we're going to import number 4. Now this is much more detailed, so we're not going to change anything at all. We're just going to reposition the laser. Don't want to go too close to that metal, and resize it. Check the frame, so in other words, where it's going to cut it out, it's going to draw a square around it, so we know kind of on the right position on the laser. Then cut it out. Right, what I've noticed, because it's 32 here today, it's very hot, the airline is picking up a lot of moisture and it's starting to spit it out on the material. So I'm going to switch the other airline compressor dryer on as well, see if we can get some of that moisture out. I may have to mop a little bit of it up while we're going, because it'll be in the lines. That's that done. Let's start it again. Two out of 2. That's quite cool. Happy with that. Exactly the same process for 3, 4 and 5. Right, so I know from experience cutting things out before, oh, it's come out, but if it hadn't have cut that out perfectly, or it's still attached, which it's actually, I think it's just come off, tiny little bit there, look. Now I know from experience that as long as you don't move anything, you can actually just go back, highlight the outline and just cut the outline again, and it'll cut that. Maybe what I should have done with that one there. There we go. Well, I don't know how I've done that, but I've cut two of the same one. Confusing. Anyway, no problem. I'll just save that one for the next batch. Now there are some that haven't fully cut out, so before including the frame, I'm setting them to play with a little bit, but before we take it out, we're going to highlight those sections and recut them. Right, that is really fine detail, as you can see, but if you can see here, it hasn't quite cut across there. Now it's nearly, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a blade and slit that, because then that should pop out. Right, so moment of truth. how fragile can it be? If that last one was that thin and delicate, what's this one going to be like? And is it going to cut it? Well, we'll soon see. Well, that's a shame. That was probably about 20 minutes cutting, but probably about 20 minutes wasted as well. And material. It's a learning curve. As you can see here, I'll pop it on the bench. Here, it hasn't cut through properly. Now that's down to the fact that the plyboard has different grades of resin in it, so there's probably more resin here and it's harder to cut through there. But when I sent it on a second pass, it actually flexed all this in the wrong direction and actually cut through the edge that we wanted to keep. Now we want to keep that, look at that, and there as well, which that's just about ready to fall out. Now in hindsight, we could have took it out like that, flipped it over, got a craft knife on it, cut down there, popped it out. But I've usually had fairly good success by just sending them on second pass. Unfortunately, with this being so thin, it's made a bit of a mess of it. So let's cut another one. Luckily, we've enough material left on this 10-pound sheet of plyboard. Otherwise, we'd be eating into profits again. Right, what I've done is I've paused it before it's cut the outline. That'll give it a little bit more strength if it needs to cut any more out. But what I also did is I slowed the cut down as well. So I slowed it down by 0.1. Now, because it was nearly cutting through the other side, I only did a little bit more, I think, just a little bit slowing down. So we're going to check it. If it's all alright, we're going to cut the outside. If it's not, we're just going to cut those bits again. Think it's alright? Right, I'm not going to send it through for another pass because we'll probably end up doing the same thing as we did last time with the edge of it. So we're going to stick it on the bench, see if we can trim it out. Wow, just one tiny little bit. How fine is that? So that's the last bit, layer number 5, and we're on 1448, and we've got to stain them up and glue them together yet. Right, all we're using here is some standard wood stain. We've got dark oak, ebony and oak, and all we're going to do is we're going to make the top layer the darkest, the top and the bottom layer the darkest, and just share the other two out between 3 layers. I don't know. All we're going to do with this is we're going to use a cloth, a bit of rag, in my case just a microfiber, an old microfiber cloth, and we're just going to dab it on and maybe do a few circles. Now the thing I've found about the wood stain is don't just let it soak in like that. Don't let it be uneven and don't let it dry. Try to get it nice and easy, even before it all dries. Again, just try not to let it dry when it's wet on the surface. You want to almost wipe it on and then wipe it back off again. So you don't want to be putting it that wet on there. You want to be dabbing that off and just getting it damp, because if that dries it'll be darker. So you have to wipe it back off. Again, if anybody's got any better ideas, pop it in the comments below, because I'm definitely no professional at this. You do have to be really delicate with some of it. You can actually almost use this as a palette sometimes, because that'll be enough to, maybe too much actually, to finish the whole thing now. Save for that one. Right, we've got 3 more left and 2 colours, so I think we'll do that one the next darkest, leave this one the colour it is. These little pots should last forever because I hardly use any of it. What you don't want to do, if you can help it, is get big blobs down the joins there, because it does dry off this. Right, now that's dried, one last thing to do. Glue it together. Right, there's a couple of options to glue this. We could have used wood glue and a roller, but I've heard that the glue still seeps out. So one way I've been told to do is super glue it together. So we're going to give that a try first, because I've got some super glue and I haven't got any wood glue. Of truth. Well, that worked. get this last layer square. Look at that. And there we go. That actually worked really, really good. Okay, so the wood, that cost us per sheet £10.40. My time was 2.5 hours. As postage for this, round about £5. A little bit of glue, a little bit of wood seal, £1.50. So we're looking at £16.90 costs. So that's all as costs. Now, what would we sell this for? Maybe premium, £45, £50. 50 minus 16.90, that gives us a grand total of £33.10. So as profits, if you divide that by my hours, which is 2.5, £13.24 an hour. So I can't work for £13.24 an hour. So that is our profit. Well, there it is. If I sell it for £50, the profit's £33.10. That means for 2.5 hours I worked, I'm earning £13.24 an hour. It's a bit rubbish, isn't it? That was including 2 failed prints, so and there was 3 hours altogether, but I took half an hour off for filming, messing about and everything like that, and I went for my snap as well. But you can't deny that looks fantastic. It's brilliant. I quite like that. I might keep it myself. Now, this will be in the shop for sale, as well as many other things. You'll find that at www.ycrcutworks.co.uk. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed the video, leave us a like, leave us a hype, subscribe. Please subscribe. It helps me make more of these non-profit, I guess. Also, if you want to see whichever machine you want to see next, let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know if you could have done something better, if we did something wrong, if there's a better way of doing something, a quicker way of doing something. Maybe we cut a coin while we're doing this, maybe maximizers profits, things like that. I don't know. But let us know in the comments what you want to see us make next, and what machine you want to see next. Whether it's the 3D printers, the laser cutting, the laser engraving on the coins or the badges, the metal cutting, scanning, it doesn't matter. Just let us know in the comments below. And that said, we will see you in the next one.